Welcome to Where Her Heart Speaks, a show designed to challenge and disrupt ineffective thoughts and behaviors to help you not only embody peace, joy, calm, and certainty, but also to help you live the life you've always dreamed of living. Where Her Heart Speaks with Coach Catherine begins now.
Hi there, it's Coach Catherine. Do you feel like you're at your wits' end with stress? Listen, you're not alone. The American Psychological Association reports that 7 in 10 adults have experienced physical and mental health problems as a result of stress. And while there are many ways to reduce stress, one of the best ways is to regulate your nervous system. And this is why I've created a powerful infographic to help you do just that. In 3 minutes, you can reduce stress using the 5 strategies listed in my free infographic. I want to encourage you to get your copy now by going to bit.ly/5 ways to de-stress. That's bit.ly/5 ways, WAYS, 2, de-stress, DESTRESS. Go to bit.ly/5 ways to de-stress and start releasing your stress today. Or as an alternative, if you'd rather get immediate support by hopping on the phone with me, I want to invite you to go to calendly.com/Coach Catherine to book a free coaching clarity call. Welcome and welcome back. I'm Catherine James, international speaker, best-selling author, trauma-informed coach, and your host for this show, Where Her Heart Speaks. Listen, we've got another juicy topic. This week, we are talking about the real cost of yes. Motivational speaker Marshall Silver said, "You can only get more in life by saying yes." You can only get more in life by saying yes. And I agree with him 100%. I totally agree. You can only get more by saying yes. And what I want to invite you to consider is the more. Is the more. Because what I've come to understand is that more is more. More of what? More is more of everything. I was recently having a conversation with someone who was sharing about how much had been going on in her life. And she spoke of multiple events taking place, like losing family members and just one thing after another. As I listened, I began to think about this concept of the real cost of yes. I began to think about the more. And I remember telling her, the more we say yes to, the more people we allow into our space, the greater the propensity there is for fallout. The more things we say yes to, the more people we allow into our space, the more people we say yes to, the more opportunities there are for us to experience discomfort. The probabilities actually increase. And while the likelihood of great things happening increase also, the likelihood of those not so great things increase. This has left me pondering the real cost of yes for the past few weeks. In our yes, we're often excited. We're excited about the possibilities. In our yes, we are excited about the end result or the immediate gratification. And I will say, there remains a cost to yes. The cost to yes. There's a cost to saying yes to the proposal. There's a cost to saying yes to a new job or business venture or opportunity. There's a cost to saying yes to a new house or a new car or a new puppy or a new baby. There's a cost. We can become caught up in the reward without thoroughly considering the cost. Now, what I've found is should we fail to thoroughly weigh or consider the cost, we could likely later regret our decision. And I talked last week about losing my puppy, so I'll just bring him up again. I remember when we said yes to having a puppy. I remember the next day when my husband and I looked at each other and said, we did not think that through. We didn't think about the cost. We didn't think about the need to change our schedules and routines to now accommodate this puppy that had entered our space. We didn't think about the feeding. We didn't think about the training. We didn't think about the walking or who would do these things. We didn't think about the real fact that we could no longer just get up and go away for the weekend or get up and go away overnight for that matter. We now had to find a sitter or someplace to put the dog while we were gone. The yes to the puppy came with a cost. Yes often adds to your plate. And I just want to say before I talk about the cost of yes, I want to explore a few reasons why people say yes. And I know that this concept may be a bit different because oftentimes we hear about people not saying yes. People's lives not being changed as a result of them not taking action, not saying yes to things. And that's the very reason why I wanted to have this conversation. Because perhaps you have, but I've not heard enough conversations regarding the cost of yes. So what I want to look at first is why. Why do we say yes? And I'm going to say the first reason is impulse. And I actually think this is the most dangerous reason. Like we may not die, or you could, but impulse. Like with our puppy, he was so cute. I kept saying no the whole while we're looking at these puppies, trying to choose one for my son. I'm looking and I'm saying, no, we cannot have a puppy. We cannot have a puppy. And it seems as though the more times I said no, the more times he walked over to me. And before I knew it, my no had turned to a yes. Impulsive yeses. Oh my gosh. I can think of so many things that I should have never done. So many things that I would have never done, but for an impulsive yes. And here's the deal. Some of those things turned out well, but others did not turn out well. Impulsive yeses. Yes in the moment. Another reason people tend to say yes is they are curious or they have a desire to learn and grow. I am notorious for this as well. I love learning about new things, and I will find myself running down in some rabbit hole and then wondering, how did I get here? Because I have this insatiable desire to learn. And maybe you want to learn also maybe a new hobby or a new skill or a new language even. Reasons that people say yes. Other reasons people say yes has to do with them elevating in life or in their personal and professional careers. They want to advance professionally. And so we say yes. I remember when I decided to go back to school to get my master's degree in psychology, being a coach who desires to help women transform their lives completely as a result of addressing the root cause, I knew that my degree would advance me professionally. So I went back, but it came at a cost. It came at a cost. It impacted my social life a great deal, like to the point where I had to decline many events. I spent many hours away from my family. And I traded that time to simply study and write, basically. It came with a cost. Another reason people say yes is because they have this thing called FOMO. They have a fear of missing out on opportunities or experiences. And they actually believe that saying no to an invitation or an opportunity may leave them feeling left out or regretting their decision. People say no or yes because they have FOMO. And then another one, where are my people pleasers? My people pleasers have a strong desire to please others. And they say yes in an effort to be accepted. They say yes to avoid disappointing others, to avoid conflict, or to maintain harmony in their relationships. Yeah. All of these reasons that people say yes. Say yes. And I want to say the reason has to be considered. Is it viable? Is it important enough for the cost that's going to be associated with the yes? And if for whatever reason we do not thoroughly consider the cost, again, we can find ourselves regretting our decision later. Knowing your why in advance can help you make decisions that serve your ultimate goals and desires. So we've talked about reasons people say yes. Now let's look at the cost. Saying yes, again, it comes with both positive and negative consequences. And if we only consider the positive consequences or the rewards, which is what our biological, our body tends to lean toward, our mind tends to lean toward when we think about a yes, we think about the rewards, we think about the positive consequences. If we only consider them, as I said a moment ago, we may later regret our decision because we've got to consider both. The real cost of yes means you're going to have to give something up. You're going to have to give up your time. You're going to have to give up your energy. You're going to have to give up your emotions, your financial resources, and your comfort even. This is the real truth. And I want to invite you to just think about it. Obtaining a new job or a promotion is exciting. It's exciting and it's new. It means that we get to experience new responsibilities. We get to experience working with new people or new learnings. It can mean an increase in income, bonuses, or other perks. But with this new, you cannot continue living life as usual. Living life as you had previously. You're going to have to invest in the new position. You will have to invest time. You will have to invest energy just to ensure you can perform as expected. And I'm going to say the real truth is, when you say yes to a marriage proposal, an investment has to be made. Again, an investment of your time, an investment of your energy, your emotions, your identity as you know it, your comfort. And if you happen to be funding the big event, it's going to be an investment of your financial resources. I remember when I left the corporate sector after being in that environment for 30 years to work in my own business full time, my yes came with a cost. It came with the cost of my time, the cost of my energy, the cost of my emotions, the cost of my financial resources, the cost of my comfort, over and over and over again. Like, I knew corporate, that was normal, that was comfortable for me. But entrepreneurship, this was a new field. And it was uncomfortable. And it cost me. It continues to cost me, if I have to be completely honest. But I've come to understand that you have to be willing to go the distance of your yes. I have to be willing to go the distance of my yes. When I started my business, I had no idea it would take so long to build a solid foundation, which I continue to build. When I said yes to my puppy, I had no idea I would have to say goodbye after having had him only 6 months. The real cost of yes is about going the distance of your yes. Whatever that brings, whatever that looks like, be it joy, excitement, the win, or be it the fallout and pain. Some yeses result in immediate gratification. And in my experience, most yeses result in a deposit of time and energy. Thoroughly and carefully thinking through your yes, projecting and forecasting the bumps in the road better prepares you for the journey ahead. Yeses come with the journey, just in case you didn't know. So we've talked about the reasons people say yes. And we've talked about the real cost of yes. And I don't want to just leave you there. I want to also share ways really quickly that you can manage your yes after you've said yes. When you think about managing your yeses, I want you to think about PDS. 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 What is PDS? Prioritize, delegate, and set boundaries. Managing your yeses. How do you manage your yeses? Prioritize, delegate, and set boundaries. We hear sirens going off in the background. You want to first prioritize. Determine the level of importance of everything on your plate. Focus on those things that align with your goals and your values. Those things that will have the greatest impact, focus on them first. Next, you want to delegate. Those things that don't align, or those things that can be done by someone else. When I was in the corporate sector, I often told my teams, they couldn't do what I do. Even though I could do what they did, they couldn't do what I did. So I could not take on their tasks because they could not take on my tasks. Like, you have to focus on the things that only you could do. And that was my goal in that time or that season of my life when I was working with my teams. I had to be intentional about focusing on the thing that only I could do. So if you find that you have something on your plate that doesn't align with your goals and your values, or something that can be done by someone else, get rid of it. Get rid of it. I often tell my clients to consider doing those things that only they can do. Only they can do. If someone else can do it, allow them to do it. And the S in PDS is set boundaries. Listen, there is no sense in putting more on your plate or more on a plate that's already full. More on your plate if it's already full. No sense in putting more on that plate or putting things on that plate that you really have no desire to eat. You really have no desire to even look at. It is so important that you protect your time and your energy by only taking on the commitments that align with your priorities and your values. As we consider the cost of yes, the real cost of yes, I'm going to say, while saying yes, again, can result in many benefits, it's important to be mindful of your capacity, because yes can also lead to feeling overcommitted and stressed. Continuously saying yes without considering your limits and without considering the cost can lead to stress, burnout, and a decline in your overall well-being. The real cost of yes. I want to invite you to take a look at your life. Take a look at the areas where you have said yes and weigh the cost. And as you are weighing the costs, consider PDS. How do you prioritize those yeses? Is there anything that you can delegate, you can let go of because someone else can do it, or you simply have no desire? And then boundaries. Setting the boundaries. Don't take more than you have the capacity to hold. And if your capacity is full, again, as in delegating, let it go. Let it go. Listen, my prayer for you this week is that you will find a balance between saying yes and maintaining a healthy level of self-care and focus. I pray you will avoid fallouts, checkouts, and burnouts by being intentional with your yeses. I pray that you will consider the real cost of yes every time you need to make a decision. I pray that you will consider the real cost of yes. And as I close this week, I want to remind you that in this life, you get to choose. Choose to listen from the place where your heart speaks, and choose to live a sensational life. Peace and blessings.
Thank you for listening to Where Her Heart Speaks with Coach Catherine, where Catherine aims to challenge and disrupt ineffective thoughts and behaviors to help you not only embody peace, joy, calm, and certainty, but also help you live the life you've always dreamed of living. Follow Catherine on Facebook and Instagram at I Am Catherine James, and visit www.catherinejames.com. Remember, to live the life of your dreams, you must go within and return to the place where your heart speaks.